Good evening, everyone. I'm Mr. Waleed, the teacher of science for 8th grade. Hope you're doing well. As we did our revision for lesson 1 and lesson 2, which is motion and speed and acceleration, we had the summary and we would like to revise it again, okay? 1, we need to focus on our definitions, the definitions that come with our exam. We have position, reference point, motion, vector, velocity. In exam, we're gonna have one of these definitions exactly, okay? Position, a description of the location of an object. So when I want to describe the location of an object, I need position. And reference point is a location to which you compare other locations, which means if I want to go to somewhere, I would choose a reference point as a landmark to go there. C, motion, change in position over time. And vector, and this is important, a quantity that has both size and direction and can never be expressed without any of these. Velocity, speed in a specific direction, and we must know that speed is the rate at which distance changes. Okay, that's for lesson 1. Now for lesson 2, you have acceleration. For acceleration, it's the rate of change in velocity, okay? A change in velocity might be in the size, direction, or both, which is a conclusion that acceleration is a vector. Go back here. A vector can be expressed by size and direction. So acceleration is a kind of vectors. Now, acceleration can be divided into two main parts. The main part here is positive acceleration, which happens when I have an increasing acceleration, which means my speed is increasing. I have an increase in velocity, okay? And negative acceleration, decreasing acceleration, same as using brakes. I use brakes to slow down. So negative acceleration can be called as slowing down. Okay. Now, relations that I must be sure to use them. So speed and time, I have the more speed I have, the less time I need to pass a certain distance, which means if I wanted to run for 100 meters and I had a big speed, I might need, let's say, 2 seconds. But if I was walking, it would take me a minute, maybe. So less time, more speed, excuse me, less time. Okay? It's measured as speed equals distance over time. And as we say here, V equals d2 minus d1 over t2 minus t1, which we call average speed or velocity. D2 is the final. Location. And D1 will be the initial. And now here we have final time and initial time. B, acceleration and time. Average acceleration will equal change of velocity over time. which means the more acceleration I have, the less time I need to change my velocity. And we had an example for this. Remember the car? Remember the car we took? If a car started from rest at v initial tساوي 0 and took 20 seconds to reach v2 equals let's say 8. And then I had another car. Started from v initial equals 0 and took 4 seconds to reach the same velocity. Here, it took me 20 seconds to reach 8 meters per second from rest. And here, it took me only 4 seconds, which means I accelerated faster here. I gained more velocity here more than this, okay? So, go back to my relation. The more acceleration I have, the less time I need to change my velocity. Deal? So easy, so logical. Now, steps to do the math. And that's the most important I want you to know. In grade 8, I want you to get skills to solve equations, okay? 1. Write what you have in questions. Let's say a 10 kilogram object, then m will equal 10 kilogram, and so on. Write what you need to find out. The question asked me to solve, like, calculate the distance. Then I need distance. 2. Write the correct formula. The formula I want to find is based on what I have and what I want to find out. If this question gave me time, gave me distance, and asked me to find speed, then I will know that speed will equal d over t. Substitute in the formula. What do I substitute in the formula? I have these into the formula. I need to write what I have in this formula. I have to substitute it. Instead of letters, I use quantities. Okay? Now, 5. Calculate the final answer plus. This is the main issue I found in 8th grade. You don't use the correct units. Speed, it's calculated by meter. No, it's meter per second. And acceleration is meter per second square. Don't mix them, please. Use the correct unit. Now, let's see an example. Find the speed of a car passing a 100-meter street in a 4-second. Solution, I follow the steps above. My steps here. 1, write what you have in questions. I have d equals 100 meters and time t equals 4 seconds. So, what do I need to find out? The second one. I need to find out what? Look, find the speed. You might see calculate the speed. Calculate. I need to find out speed. Okay. 3. Write the correct formula. Where's my formula? Here. S equals d over t. Then I need to substitute. Substitute in the formula. 100, S equals 100, which is I have here, d. This instead of d. And then t, which is 4. S equals 100 over 4. Now I calculated. That's the last. That is the last step, and I use the correct formula. Now, if you give me an answer without a unit, you will get a plus one. You will get a -1. Be sure. Okay? This is extremely important. Okay. As a student, some relations I need to know. Okay? Speed is only determined by size, which means it's a scalar quantity. Speed is only determined by size, while velocity is determined by size and direction. We go back to size and direction, and we find it here in definitions. It's a vector. Velocity is a vector, so I need size and direction to find it and to express it, okay? Which means, okay. Acceleration is a vector as well. Go back. A vector needs size and direction because it needs size and direction in order to be determined. Okay? Graphs. I know you hate graphs. So do I. But here we must know how to deal with them. And with me, you won't find it that much hard. Please focus. Make sure to apply these steps. Few steps we have practiced over and over, and we will do it once again. Determine the type of graph. What graph are you dealing with? Distance time or speed time? How do I determine it? Look here. Speed and time, which means it's a speed, obviously. Time graph. Okay. And so for distance time. The first, make sure to determine the points needed to calculate average speed or average velocity. I need 2 points. 2 points to find the average speed or average velocity. Okay? Because slope can be taken only between 2 points. 2 points I need to calculate average velocity or average speed. 3. The first point you choose is called P1 and has the coordinates x1, t1 and s1, t1 for the distance time graph and speed time graph respectively. 1. This is for distance time, and here for speed time graph. Okay? What are you saying? Yes, that's what you're gonna ask. Teacher, what are you saying? Let's leave this for now. Let's have an example. Find the average speed in the following graph. See here? This is a distance and time. So I'm dealing with a distance time graph. Okay, that's 1. 2. I need to find what? The average speed. Of course, because this slope of this line makes the average speed. How do I calculate it? Let's see. I need 2 points. To make it easier, always take this point as the initial point. This one is called P1 and has D1 equals 0 and T1 equals 0 meter and second. We're done here. And I need a second point. Where do you prefer to choose? For me, honestly, I prefer convenient points. Why? It's much easier to calculate. I took this point already because one, if I make a line here, see, this line means that if I make a horizontal line, my distance will be 140. My distance here will be 140. This is P2. So definitely it has D2 and T2. P2, okay. D2, I find it. It's 140. And the unit is meter, of course, because it's distance. And T2 will equal, let's see, what is T2? I make a vertical line. Oh, it's 5. See? It's what? It's 5. That is D2. That is the second time I need to, in order to find my average speed. So, T2 is 5 seconds. And D2, I have it. What do I need to do now? I have my information here. And I need my formula. What is the formula I use here? I'm required to find the average speed, which means I need the formula of average speed. Average speed can be given as change in distance over change in time. S equals D2 minus D1 over T2 minus T1. Let's write what I have. I have D2 equals 140 meters. D1 is here, it's 0 meters. T2 equals 5 seconds. And T1 is definitely, because I started at the initial coordinates, it's 0. T1 equals 0 seconds. Okay, let's calculate now, because I have written what I need, what I have, and I know what I want to find out. I have my formula here, so I substitute. So easy. S equals D2 140 minus D1 0 over 5, which is T2, minus 0, which is T1. Then what? Let's calculate it. S equals 140 over 5, then S equals 28, and the unit is meter per second. That is the unit. I'm going to remind you again. Once you lose one of these units, you will get a minus. I want you to gain more skills than grades. So please, don't forget the units. Okay? That's what we have for today. Hope you enjoyed your time here, and hope you find it so useful. In case if you had any kind of questions, never mind to ask me. And I hope you the best. Bye bye.